Give me a counting, man.
Yeah, we're live.
All right, we're live. Steve
Hey,
wants me
everybody.
to serenade you all at the start, so I'll do something.
This is Jack. He's just bought himself a new piano, so we're gonna treat you guys to a little bit of his forte.
Ah, shit. There you are.
Yay! Pretty good, man. That was pretty good. And what was that called? I Fall in Love Too Easily.
I just spent $6,000 on that. So it was made in 1982, and yeah. Well, this is something like this. What I mentioned to you on the phone the other day. So I'm sure the viewers will be aware of like Yvonne and like her content. And there's one thing she said that really fucking haunted me. And she said, because obviously, right, truth is singular, right? But then there's when it gets personal with everyone's individual soul, there's something like we all have to do in our life, and we all know what it is, like deep down. Like we have like the things that we're passionate about that we'd like to spend more time doing. There's a naggingness. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, Steve?
I
Like
know
there's
precisely what you're saying.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, like it's like what your soul really what your heart really desires to do. So like so Yvonne said like you have to find out what your most basic truth is and your most basic lie. And for me that was really obvious what the two were, because I was going to major in music at college, and then I decided not to and majored in engineering. And now I work as an engineer. And don't get me wrong, I found like electronics and engineering and the maths and the physics, I found it fascinating. I really enjoyed it. But now I'm like working as an engineer and like working managing a team of like electrical engineers. It just fucking sucks, man. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I can relate this like astrologically as well. You have to look at what house Saturn is in your horoscope. Not well, what sign it's in, but what house. And where Saturn is supposedly it rules like your karma, and the it's like that heavy archetype of it rules work as well. And whatever house it's in is the archetype where you have to do more work, where this is like what it's forcing you to do. So say you had Saturn in like the ninth house, right? Like teaching is seen in the ninth house. So you might really long to like teach, but you didn't go to college, you didn't fucking whatever, for example. Or I don't know, say like so I have Saturn in the fifth house of creativity. And so like that archetypal energy that Saturn brings is like constantly fucking nagging me and like telling me you need to do your creative shit. But yeah, it's like being a musician and earning money from it is not easy. It's very difficult. And for that reason I studied engineering, because I was like, oh, it'll be much easier. I basically took the path of least resistance. And Saturn won't let you take the path of least resistance. It will make you take a path which is much more difficult, and it plays into the toil of physical reality as well, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, dudes. Yeah.
So what house is Saturn in for me if I always have a hankering to go fishing?
Fishing would probably be like the fifth house of like fun and games and creativity.
I thought, oh, okay,
Ruled by Leo, and also children are seen in
what did you call my living a life of leisure? What did you call it? Life of Riley?
Oh, the life of Riley. Yeah. Apparently, it was like an old radio show in like America in the 70s where it was about this guy called Riley that was just born with a fucking silver spoon in his mouth and did whatever the fuck he wanted whenever he wanted.
Well, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I like to say I do whatever I want whenever I want, but that's not the case because, you know, chasing that proverbial carrot for the man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
which brings us to that video that you sent me, and that what was it? Mind Magic? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Mind and Magic. Yeah.
Mind and Magic. Well,
yeah. That dude.
It was a good video. It's exactly my thoughts on what the media is doing, but I wanted to get to clear up who is they that he refers to in the video. Did he say
he said it was the families that own all the media corporations,
and there's only one.
States.
Maybe
he said there's 6, but they're all in bed with each other. You know, they're all. You know, it's like the Wizard of Oz, like, you know, in his emerald fucking castle, like waving his magic wand about. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad because, you know, I mean, I'd probably be termed like a right-wing person, probably, because and, you know, people often go, oh, yeah, I'm on the right wing because I believe in smaller government, blah, blah, blah. That's not why I fall in that category. I mean, really and truly, I'd be center, right? Like socialism and capitalism, there's probably a happy medium in between the two, as long as there's no tyranny. Do you know what I mean? Or fucking, I don't know. Like, you know, I don't care if people are gay, whatever like that. I couldn't give a shit, you know. But, my point is that when it comes to individualism versus collectivism, I'm very much on the side of the individual, very much so. And it's like Phil says that the term the royal family is a misnomer and an oxymoron because no one enlightens as a group.
Right.
And that's like basically the folly of every cult. That they say they're going to all be saved at this one group. You could even
right. Every religion thinks that.
Right. Yeah, but that's not how it is. We know that's not how it is. It happens on an individual basis. But the reason I've come so towards the individual rather than the collective is because when my life really sucked after I had a samadhi experience, and it was really shit. Like, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but my life fucking sucked. It was bad, right? And I didn't blame myself for it. I blamed everyone else. I said, oh, it's society, it's the government, it's a conspiracy. I spent so much effort blaming everyone around me that I couldn't make any progress. And it wasn't until I admitted I needed help to my parents and started blaming myself for the predicament that I created, then that's when my life started to become more balanced and I started to, you know, make things more manageable just to manage everyday mundane existence, you know. So all the people that are like, oh, yeah, we need to get the government to do all this shit to help everyone out. I can call bullshit on it from experiential knowledge. It's like, no, the government's not going to do shit for you. I mean, yeah, they can lower taxes to kind of help businesses and that kind of stuff, etc. there are some things they can do that can help society. I'm not saying that
I
there's
don't.
not, you know, but on an individual basis, for the individual person to ameliorate their life, you know, whatever they define success to be, success is quite a subjective thing. You know, it has to come from within the individual. There's nowhere else it can come from, you know.
Right. Get this. Maybe the COVID thing is a means in which to push more and more people to the precipice of enlightenment, or the journey to start being enlightened. You know.
Maybe in a roundabout way. I
Yes.
mean, who knows what the divine plan is for Earth? You know,
Right. Because Earth has to push back. Otherwise, you know, we'd take
yeah,
it. I mean, we've already taken full control of it, and we're, you know, some could argue that we're detrimental to the Earth. And you know, when you have a roach problem, what do? You try to get rid of the roaches.
yeah. Well, actually, funny you say that. I've had a mice problem of late, but I don't blame the mice because the mice are just like following natural law. We
Mm-hmm.
had a toaster in the kitchen that had a like tray that slid
Oh yeah.
underneath it, and all these fucking breadcrumbs accumulated. So they'd come into the kitchen, crawl into the toaster, you know,
Oh,
feast
yeah.
on the crumbs and leave. Yeah, that toaster's in the trash.
How many times did you have toast though and not know it?
Oh, dude, I haven't even thought about that yet. You know, I kind of went off eating bread. I didn't know why. I just kind of maybe that was why. Oh man, I didn't even think about that. Thanks, Steve, for that. But yeah, we've got so I got 4 cats, and none of them have been able to catch the mice.
Really?
This mouse has got some balls, man. I tell you. But yeah, we got
Gary says in chat, he says when he has a roach problem, he breaks them all up and rolls them into a joint.
very funny.
What's up, Turtle? I like turtles. Pete Turtle's in the house. Gary Baxter's in the house. Paula's in the house. Inuk, Christensen, Karen Lynn, the Brick, which is Travis, Crystal MacArthur. Hi, everybody. I'm glad you could join us. And I'm talking with Jack, FRATER DEUS EST VERITAS.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, so like I was saying, you know, the fucking mice. You can't really blame the mice. It's my fault for fucking leaving shit out for them, you know. So
Leave Gary says, leave the cat food dish empty for a few days, and your mice problem will go away.
Yeah, we've got a possum. We've got a few possums outside as well. My wife's actually seen one, and they eat the mice. So maybe the possums will do what the cats can't do. So, but I got baby kitties, man. They're baby kitties. They're not like wild fucking Kalahari desert mean cats. You know, they're baby kitties, man. So
Wild Kalahari. How did you connect wild and Kalahari together?
Oh, because meerkats are native to the Kalahari Desert, aren't they?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I swear they're rodents anyway, not actually feline, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, yeah. What do you want to like talk about? I mean, like I'm open.
Today's day and age, what we're doing, what we think we're doing, what we're slated to do, and what we want to do.
Yeah, yeah. It's all a conundrum, isn't it? It really is.
Well,
Yeah.
it's pretty simple, straightforward stuff until you look around you and you realize your kids are all grown up, and you're still pretty much in the same spot you were before you had your kids. And, you know, as far as mentally, and, you know, you look around and you're like, what the hell is this? You know, what is this place I'm in? You know, I'm not complaining because, you know, I like breathing and farting and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
having fun with my children and being alive. You know, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying it's half empty. I'm just saying, you know, I don't want to wear a mask in public like everybody else.
Oh, you're a fucking anti-masker.
Huh?
You're a fucking anti-masker, aren't you?
Well, no, I'm not like that.
Protect everybody. See, that's why I don't like it. It's like it's to protect everybody.
Well, you think about that though. You think about that on a spiritual level. If you're willing to put something on your face that will protect everybody else, and careless about yourself on a spiritual level. That's what it's all about.
I don't know. I think
Yeah, if
I thought
give up the things,
I think it's
seriously.
far more political. It's become political, unfortunately. You know, I'm scratching my head because in these red states, you know, COVID's all under control, but in these liberal states, there's fucking more cases. Apparently, it's
Whatever.
it's
I
so
don't
stupid.
think that has anything to do with it, but
No, I mean, no, I don't know, man. I don't know,
you're
but
frozen.
I've
You
frozen.
froze up like this for a minute.
Have I unfreezed?
Yeah, you unfroze.
Yeah. I mean, with the whole thing, I mean, look, I begrudgingly wear my mask when I go to the store. The second my foot steps outside the store, I don't wear it. And
Yeah, me neither. But
fortunately, at work, they've been very relaxed about wearing masks. They're saying is, oh, if you come in 6 feet of someone, put your mask on. But if not, don't bother.
mm-hmm.
Which is great because having to my old job, like it was like, oh, you must wear a mask, otherwise you have to go home. It
Is
was
that why
kind of
it's your old job?
yeah. Well, that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons that my manager was a bit narcissistic as well. So just yeah, whatever.
King Xenomorph asks, who knows someone that died from COVID?
Don't
I know
know.
somebody that had it, but I could have had it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. And to be honest, I'm not really worried about it, Steve.
Neither am I.
It will, you know, it will all sort itself out in the end. You know, it is
But I
what it
mean,
is.
never before in our existence in human history have we had one issue stop the world and make us check ourselves. Not one time.
Yeah.
Maybe in the past when Spanish flu hit, but wasn't all at a collective one moment. Where like today's day.
Oh, you froze now.
You know,
Yeah. Sorry. What did you say? You froze on that last sentence, Steve.
uh, I said, what did I say? That's how quick.
About
I'm 10-second Tom, dude. I can't remember 10
one
seconds ago.
instance in the world where like people have.
Oh yeah, how everybody, the collective, is all focused on one thing and one thing only. I
Yeah.
mean,
I've noticed there's kind of been a change to the zeitgeist, though. Now it's all about fucking rioters and
yes,
all
yes,
this stuff.
yes, yes, yes.
And you know, this is the thing. It's all being orchestrated by the media. You know, I actually saw like on Fox and CNN, they're just they're on opposite sides of the coin. They're scripting exactly the same thing. You know, it's just they're pitching to the different polarities in the arguments that are currently
Who is they?
raised.
Who is they?
Huh?
Who is they?
The media companies.
Oh yeah.
So what the media companies are doing, they're like, okay, so we got the right people on one side. We'll tell them there's no such thing as racial inequality, blah blah. On the left, we'll tell them like we live in a white supremacist fucking tyranny. You know, it's really bizarre. Because I unsubbed to every news channel on YouTube and kept clicking not interested on my stream because I
Yeah,
really
and they keep
cannot.
shoving it.
I'm done with it. I'm like literally done with it. I don't care. Like
Yep.
it's all manufactured and it's all designed to like throw you off balance. And but the point is that I was trying to make is that oh god, I forgot it. What was it? It's just that
The polarity.
they have a channel for each polarity on the argument, right? And if you research on Google like media manipulation, there's a little smoke screen because what you actually get is social media manipulation. So there's been like a perfect like keyword cover search in
Oh yeah.
the so like and I saw yesterday actually on YouTube there was a protest, right? Outside the BBC in London, a bunch of people were protesting there to be like, you know, fuck you. You're just spouting all this crap and dividing the country deliberately. And of course, the media blacked it out because they do not want the wrath of the public to turn their evil eye onto them and go, hold on. It's like Lord Palpatine or fucking Littlefinger in Game of Thrones, this game that they're playing. They're just playing off both sides against each other. And it's really... I'd see. This is what I'd say at this point. And I say, oh, for what? Like, what's the purpose of it? But it's for money. It's to sell clicks, you know, to basically get more ad revenue and make more fucking money.
Well, clickbait is the newest rage, you know.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's so stupid.
It's that way because our shock and awe, instant gratification society demands it. And that's
sensationalism.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything's got to be now, and yeah, I mean, like I said, until I don't know, I don't know, man. This is like the beauty of meditating at a time like this is that it's going to immunize you from what push or pull of one way or the other. And at the moment it's politics and race, right? That's it. Like, that's the two big ones. So are you frozen, Steve? You back?
No, you were frozen.
Back? Yeah.
You cut out. Or no, it says my internet connection is unstable. It's probably because my kid's stealing all the bandwidth with his video game.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
You ask, so what do you think they will do in the real world money game?
What does he mean by they in that question?
Can
you elaborate?
As far as replace the money situation, I think, or the, because I do believe that you're right about the money, and money is what, to me, money is the biggest issue humanity has to face, and our chasing of it and the greed thereof and what it all entails. I understand that you have to have a structure to society and a way to work things, but you know, what is the change going to be?
Yeah, I don't see money as evil at all. It's just a means to an end and a unit of exchange. It's the desire to accumulate an abundance of money that causes a problem. You know, I saw this thing from this Marxist economist. I was watching this thing and look, I'm no Marxist or lefty, but it was interesting what he was saying. He said, if everyone in the world had what they needed, and we still had our cell phones, our fucking nice computers and our flashy cars and all that shit, if everyone had just what they needed in this world, we'd only have to work a 2 to 3 weekday. And then we'd have the rest of the week to follow what we really wanted to do. And I think all governments are aware of this, but I don't have a problem with it. And I'll tell you why I don't have a problem with it and why the 5-day work week is okay with me, because it's about embracing the toil, you know, of physical reality, and having to fucking slave 40, 50, 60 hours a week. It kind of builds your spirit up. Do you know what I mean? And also it makes you the time that I have that is free time, I value it much more, and I'm much more prudent in how I use it. I don't just waste it, you know, now. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's up to the individual to decide. I mean, it'd be nice to fucking be able to pay all the bills with a 3-day work week. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see the people who have accumulated a lot giving it up that easily. I really don't.
Right.
And I don't think they should and be held accountable. It's like they have their own free will, you know.
True that.
So what you do? Well, you know, it's like you kind of, I don't know.
You can wish for a utopian society all you want. You can, you know, think that everything is going to be unicorns and rainbows and everything will take care of itself. Yet there is some validity to the toiling side of things, like you stated, because then you value what you have. And I think therein is.
Yeah.
Have too much of one thing, do you really know what the real world is when the real world doesn't have what you have, you know? And
Yeah,
that's
I missed all that because you cut out, but yeah. I mean, like in terms of value, the things that I value are like much more transcendental than like physical. This kid on my team at work, he left, and it's a shame he left because he was really good at his job, and he asked me when at work. He said to me, "Oh, Jack, what's your dream car?" He asked me that question. Yeah, I was fucking like totally stumped when he asked me that. I had no fucking idea. Like my dream car, like I couldn't answer that question.
mine's a 69 goat.
Yeah, I'd never like desired a car really. I'm not like a fucking motorhead kind of person. I know some people are, but
I am. Look at my nails. They're greasy.
yeah. But yeah, the point was, it's like I was like, I don't have a dream car. Like that's not something I'd value. If a car can get me from A to B and it's reliable, that's all I need. That's all I care about. I've got like a 20-year-old Toyota Corolla. Like I don't give a shit with a Sailor Moon back sticker on the back. So yeah, like it comes to a question of value, and obviously value is subjective. One man's trash is another man's gold. You see what I mean? So yeah, that and that's why I've like, I had the idea as well that with the music thing, it's interesting because when Mozart was like 4 years old, he was already like composing like symphonies and shit like that as a 4-year-old. That's what history tells us. Whether it's embellished or not, I don't know. But let's assume that it was true and he was a musical prodigy at that tender age, as just an infant. That probably means that the knowledge that you do, I know this is true, but I'm just looking for kind of scientific proof in a weird way. Like what you do accumulate knowledge wise, you can take with you into a subsequent life. Therefore, like, that's why I've decided to like pursue like music very seriously, like outside of work full time, and then
Oh,
maybe I'll be in a position shortly where I can do it full time. So that's what I'm working to now. And it's not like this is what I told you on the phone. I did an I Ching divination, like asking if I could now be a professional musician, and I don't know what hexagram number it was, but it's called like wait or patience, and it says like it's like, yeah, you can, it says you can do it, but you need to wait till the time's right. But at the end in the book of changes it says, and once this is complete the soul can finally gain rest. And I read that and I was like, wow, that's interesting. So it goes back to what I said at the start. We have things that we really want to do, that like our soul really desires to do. And it could pertain to like something physical. I don't really know. You have to judge each case on its own individual merit. But for everyone, there must be something that they know they need to do, and the longer they put it off, the more the more that inner voice is nagging you to do it. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
And it's not, and but it's things that bring fulfillment, because some people could really desire to like accumulate loads of money, but then the money's never enough. You start going into the hungry ghost archetype in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Do you know what I mean? Where like have you read about? Are you familiar with that?
The coming forth by day.
No, the
The
Tibetan one.
Tibetan Book of the
Yeah,
Dead,
the hungry ghost.
where it talks about uh, Barbello and all that.
No. So the hungry ghost is basically souls that have accumulated great riches
Oh,
and have been greedy. So say you die in a state of greed and you're still greedy, like when you die. Like when you're in the Bardo realms, according to the Tibetans,
Freezing up, or is it him?
You fall into this realm where you're surrounded by like all the wealth and riches that you could possibly imagine, but it's just like, and like all this food, and like you can never be satiated by it. You're like doomed to this like kind of hellish afterlife where nothing's never enough, you know. And there, and this is the thing, like I said about wealthy people, certain people they don't have to give up what they have. It's their own free will. But you know, karma and the automatic nature of the universe will get them in the end. You know, it will. So
Yeah, somebody's in chat saying The Egg by Andy Weir. Are you aware of that?
No.
That's pretty much what you're talking about, they say.
Oh man, there's this other like Indian folklore about people in the fucking desert that like transmute into like a monster where they just eat people and they can never eat enough. What's it fucking called? It's like an Indian like folklore legend of these fucking desert people. Does anyone in the chat know what I'm talking about? I can't remember the name.
The Egg by Andy Weir is a story about you're on your way home, you were in a car accident, high existence. But here, I'm going back on chat. Sounds better than the Lake of Fire.
Yeah. Wasn't the Lake of Fire God?
Yeah,
like
the Lake of Fire is God. Yeah.
So like being cast into the Lake of Fire is actually a good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's what I think.
Oh God, how like things are like twisted and changed in the Bible.
And that's all because of man's misconception and propensity to think everything is a literal and you know, act of physicality, in my opinion. Yeah. And people have to realize that we have to personify things to remember them. Otherwise, we don't remember them. You know, you personify, ain't all of the creation myths are personified for that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, all these stories have all the wisdom of the ages packaged into a nice little kind of parable, you know.
Yes, and if they were personified, you know, you probably wouldn't remember it or want to remember it because it wouldn't pertain to you on a human level.
And that's why these stories are so loved by people. They don't know why. They like you know, I saw my wife sent me yeah, you want to move just a little bit so it looks like you got a crown chakra.
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
but anybody want to know where the cross comes from? They're there. Look at any light in the dark, and you see that's where the cross comes from.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, not the cross, but you get my point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my wife sent me a trailer. They've made a new screenplay of Pinocchio, Disney.
Yeah.
And it's not animation, although they probably have CGI effects, but it looks kind of cool. You know, I love that fucking story, Pinocchio, because it's basically, you could add, in theory, you could add a book in the Bible called the Book of Pinocchio, and it wouldn't be out of place, you know, with the story that it tells.
Well, not in the carnal mind, it wouldn't be.
Well, no, not in the carnal mind, but in context of the higher mind, you know. So yeah, man, that looks pretty cool. So because I figured that Geppetto's the demiurge because he's the old white bearded man. He makes all these physical objects, including clocks like Father Time, with all the fucking these animals and stuff like that. So yeah, and then you've got like the divine feminine as well. And then they create this divine child, and he
wants to be a real boy.
And he has to, yeah. Well, I guess like being a real boy is like kind of eternal life kind of thing, you know. And then he goes into the whale, Jonah, and that's kind of like stolen from Jonah and the whale, straight up.
I thought that when I was young about that
Yeah,
story.
yeah. And then, yeah, it's very interesting. It's so fascinating. And these stories, you know, I really think if someone wants to be a storyteller, and you know, that's what their soul is like egging them on to do. That's what
Mhm.
their real desire is. To understand the parables in the Bible and then tell the hero's journey in a similar vein, it's um it's uh it's the way to do it, you know.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like it's like I wouldn't even call it a formula. It's just I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
I think everything that grabs us is that same story deep down. You know,
Mm,
every movie, every situation, every, you know, good ending to everything. I mean, the only
yeah.
movies that really truly suck are the ones that end on a really, you know.
Yeah. Talking of that, I re-binged Breaking Bad a few
I
weeks
love that
ago.
show.
I re-binged it and I'm like, there is not one fucking hero in this.
No,
Like it's the first like it's like it's like a tragedy
and
archetype.
it ends like that too. It ends like really.
There's I mean you kind of like root for Jesse in the end, but he still committed terrible atrocities, you know.
Pinkman, yeah,
It's fun. It's a great show though, but yeah, man.
yeah. It
You,
that beckons to our narcissistic evil side. I bet a little more than the good.
yeah. You're talking of that actually. It's something I wanted to bring up with you because in the last live chat, I was like, I was kind of like mentioning some things that I hated, you know, that I actually don't fucking like. I really detest. Right?
Right.
And I was
And I was
talking
ribbing you
about,
for it. I was
and I was,
ribbing you for it.
yeah, I was talking about how I hated the people responsible behind the media manipulation.
Hmm.
And I remember I got some flack in the chat about that, like, oh, you shouldn't hate. But here's the point: is like, if I'm like really honest with myself, like, I don't like these people, Steve. I really don't. I don't like what they're doing, and I don't believe it serves a higher purpose in the long run. I really don't. It and like, yeah, if I'm honest with myself, these people are psychopathic motherfuckers, and the world would be a much more balanced place without them. But
On a much lighter note, on a rated G note, why was Mary so contrary? Mary, quite contrary.
oh, well, that's like Sophia. She desired to return to the light, but she was cast into the abyss. So her that gave rise to the contrary nature of polarity in the abyss and creation.
Good answer, dude.
Yeah,
Good answer. Very good answer.
yeah. Well, I've had some good teachers, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, namely Phil. So
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Do people knock you for like saying, you know, Phil's a good teacher, or do people think that you're worshiping Phil, or, you know, because
no, I
I get
don't
that a
fucking
lot. Like, I'm
worship
not
him.
being my
I
own
don't.
guru and all that shit. You know what I
I
mean?
don't worship Phil. And
No, neither do I. But I mean,
there are
do you ever
things
get
he
that?
says. There are things he says where I'm like, I'm not sure I agree with that. You know.
Right. There's a couple things he says that I don't agree with, but I mean,
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
most part, I would still be lost if it wasn't for him and Yvonne at this point.
yeah, yeah. No, no, definitely. But I kind of feel like there's there's it's almost like some kind of justice, some divine justice that like I put so much energy and effort into trying to figure out like the true nature of reality. You
Hmm.
know, move through the fucking conspiracy theories, then
Right.
you move into the occult, then you move into mysticism. Like
Yep.
that's the natural progression of it. Like
It seems to be.
I kind of like feel like I was like justly rewarded by you know, like, and they say when the student's ready, the teacher appears. I think that's true, you know, but you got to kind of have that desire to understand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even still, like, I don't think you can like rest on your laurels as well,
Never.
and then just kind of like go through the motions. And
Yeah, but my point with asking you those questions are because I've been getting like a I don't know, secondhand backlash because I interview people like Phil or Yvonne and people. Well, no, actually, it's coming from only a couple sources, like this girl named Emily, saying that I'm addicted to somebody who's got it out for Phil, I suppose. And I guess it's her that's egging into getting into my psychological framework so much so that I'm questioning, does anybody else experience that? But it's this
yeah,
one woman that has a propensity for trying to protect her ego, I guess. That must be what it is. I'm not
well,
exactly.
look, here's how I deal with this. I really don't give a fuck what people think,
Neither
and
do
I'm
I,
not,
but
and
well,
I'm
yeah,
not,
I do. I can't say
and
I, but I do.
I'm not saying that in like a narcissistic sense. The reason I don't give a fuck about what people think is because I'm an extremely severe judge on my own self. All right. And I try to be honest with myself and take the action necessary to keep my life balanced, keep one foot in the chaos and one foot in order, if you see what I mean.
Oh yeah,
So
contrast.
yeah, so like and there's this idea like, oh, you shouldn't judge people because then you'll be judged yourself. It's like, no, you can't be a judge unless you've been judged by God, by the divine. That's what that really means. Like,
Mhm.
but we all make our judgments. That's how the ego works. We have
Well,
things that
keeping
we
in
got.
mind that God is your true self. Are
Yeah, yeah. I actually was contemplating on this the other day, and like, I think I figured out what the difference between spirit and soul is.
spirit
Like,
is of the world, right?
well, I'm talking about spirit, like, period, generally, as in like the ineffable, all-encompassing spirit, right? So like, so spirit would be like God,
The
basically,
whole.
the whole, the singular whole, where all is complete and
Oh,
all
you
is
know what? That's a good point because the soul is part of the solar system, and yeah, that's
well,
good. That's
well,
good.
yeah, like, so the soul, our soul is
The parts.
the individual, like it's our own coordinate, like in that whole of spirit. Do you know what I mean?
Gotcha. Sorry, I gotta plug in here.
Are you dying?
I had to plug in my computer. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
All right, cool.
yeah. So like souls, like that personal aspect of the grand spirit, basically, that we possess. You know,
Yeah.
and there's the battle between the ego and the soul. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and I feel like I'm starting to overcome. My soul is starting to overcome my ego, which is why I went and fucking spent $6,000 on a new piano, because I'm like, no, this is like what I love doing, and
Right.
I mean, so and I've like signed up to like a serious course. I'm like gonna pledge like to do like at least 12 hours a week practice. I've got a diary now. I've got like theory books I'm gonna work through. I'm being very like organized and motivated and focused about it. And this is the other thing about working full time. Like I said, because my free time is limited, I have to use it wisely. And also, Steve, like, I'm 32 going on 33. So that invincibility of youth is fading quickly, fast. I'm starting to see like the end of.
Hey, I got 14 years on you, so I know exactly where you're coming from.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I mean, you just don't have a reference point for that when you're young. You just don't. Which is
Right.
why these kids make the best soldiers. You can have kids of extremely high intellect that study medicine. They can smoke and drink and do drugs. They don't fucking care. It's because they haven't had enough time to realize the the transience of life, and yeah, the invincibility of youth, you know.
Right.
So
Just today, I woke up at around noon and thought that I had to be in Compton soon. I got to get drunk before the day begins, before my mother starts bitching about my friends.
right,
no, no, but I got up and I looked at the wall of pictures of my kids, and I
yeah.
went, man, where did life go?
Mm.
They're all grown up, man.
Yeah, yeah. Funny, like my friend sent me a video on YouTube from like 5 years ago, and it's a video of me and a bunch of rappers having like a freestyle cipher, like in my friend's shed, like getting high and drunk, smoking weed, and all that
Hmm.
shit. And like, oh man, I didn't even know it was on there. Like, and he sent it to me, and like my verse was all about like fucking everyone's like just rapping about like shit, and then I was rapping about like hermetics and fucking the occult, mysticism, and all that. And
Oh,
that was
there's a good
like,
song right now out about I forget what. Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
yeah, no, it was just like I look back at that from 5 years, and I'm drunk as fuck in the video. Like I don't know what I'm on, but I'm on something, and like I'm really skinny and shit like that. And but there was still that, like, I look back now from like 5 years ago when I would have been like 26, 27, and there was still like that burning desire to understand like the true nature of reality and to get to the bottom of it. And like I said, I think this is like why we've been rewarded with like a veritable teacher that can actually explain things so they actually make sense, you know. And I don't give a fuck if like people give Phil flack. At the end of the day, his exegesis can be transposed onto any scripture and hold. It can stand. It can stand the
That's why I
test.
grabbed onto it right away, man,
Yeah.
because it
So
makes sense.
and like it makes sense, you know. There's no, but the real kicker is his lack of a desire to form an institution, which is where John D went wrong, and
Bing,
where
bingo.
they went, you know, like, okay, yeah, we know the truth. We need to make a big institution to bring it to the world. Like, no, that was a mistake. You just have to let the individuals do their thing. And like, here's like, I'll play
That's what I'm
devil.
learning through this experience right here, is because I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
we know the truth, and you try to force people or force your perspective on people, and it pushes them away. It causes division and causes issues that you are unintended.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, you know, God is like infinite and eternal, so you can't get to the end of God, right? And like, if you transpose that onto your own life, this is why I still want to seriously uh, go for the things I want to learn in this life with the music and like the occult and stuff. Is because, you know, even like post enlightenment, it's like Phil said, your life still continues. You still go on. Do you know what I mean? You know,
Well, you just move on to greater truths. That's all.
and they say in Buddhism as well, like when the enlightened monks are like faced with like the lake of fire and they can merge with it and cease to exist, like the Mr. Meeseeks in fucking Rick and Morty. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but
All
I've
right, but
seen Rick and
anyway,
Morty, but not.
like people in the chat might do. They say like when these monks like reach the edge, like fucking Neo at the door of the architect in
Yep.
like the Matrix.
Hmm.
Like supposedly they never go into it. They always turn back and say, "No, I'm not going to do it. I still want to live and go from life to life and transcend an ego every time and keep learning and keep whatever. So
Well,
I
isn't
think
that what fear does mostly to humans, is hold them back? So yeah, that's people are
that's
at
what
that.
held me. That's what's held me back musically was fear.
Yeah,
Fear that like it's an
uncertainty.
unconventional path. My people will be skeptical, like and like yeah, like fears held me back, but I'm kind of like over that now. So, you know, like I said, I can follow what I really want to do. So later in life, a bit later in life, I'll be able to like actually do it. I mean, I'm in a preparation phase now.
I didn't know. I didn't realize you were that young, dude.
32.
That's pretty young.
How old do you think I was?
I thought you were right
Be
around
careful.
40. I thought you were right around 40.
That's funny, man. No, I'm 32, going on 33.
I can't believe I look in the mirror and I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting old. I can't believe I'm at 47 now.
Yeah.
Getting up there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, for 47's like a fucking like a magic number, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, like there's a whole deal with 47 because I mean the way I see it, you like have the 4 elements and then the 7 like planetary archetypes. There's your
The
4 and the
Lucas 7,
7.
the 7 Hermetic principles. Yep.
Yeah, they're always going on about the number 47 in Star Trek, or it's scripted in there. Like,
What about 42? Why is 42 a big deal?
you know, that's quite interesting. The reason I think 42 is a big deal, like, so you see the symbol of Jupiter is 42, right?
Symbol
In
of who?
the symbol of Jupiter in astrology
Jupiter?
is a 2 and a 4 connected to each other. So I guess like in the occult, it pertains to like benevolence and like learning philosophy because philosophy is the highest type of thought that humans can engage in, which brings them to the summit of all knowledge. So, I mean, yeah, like the number 42 is like for that reason, like, I don't know. I know it's in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as well. When they ask the computer what the meaning of life is, and he's like, "Well, I
For a
thought
while there, I thought it was M42, Orion's Nebula.
maybe that's why they named it M42."
Very well could be.
I don't know. Yeah, have you
I
heard
do
actually?
think that's where our solar system was born.
Who knows? I don't know. You know.
I was there. I remember. I know.
Oh right, yeah. You're at M42. Yeah.
I was up in that womb of creation.
So yeah, man. So yeah, I've actually put like my mystical studies on the back burner of late because I've been obsessed with it for like 12 years, and I've decided to like take a kind of step back from it and
I think you're onto something there, Jack. And I think that if you push yourself too much to something, the goal ever recedes or gets further away, because I think there's just something in this struggle or toiling for it. It demands you to relax.
There's also the concepts of letting go of your desire, because if you really desire something and then you give up on that desire
and it comes back,
it will often manifest itself, and that's a big part of like magical operations. Is like once you cast for something that you want or you need, you have to forget about it and put it out of your mind. And the longer you focus on what you desire, the more elusive it becomes. There's like this. I know in chaos magic, the theory is like if you look at the 2 polarities, one is like non-attachment on one polarity, and the other polarity is non-disinterest. So on your 2 poles, if you have non-disinterest on one side, so you're still kind of interested, but you can take it or leave it, and then non-attachment on the other side, then you can get it. It's bizarre. It's just, I think like the divine likes to surprise us. It takes more joy in giving us things when we least expect it. And that's what evokes that like joy within us, like I fucking I wanted a dishwasher and like I couldn't get one, and then someone bought one for me for Christmas. I was so fucking happy.
Oh, what's her name? Oh, just kidding. You didn't get that, did you?
No, I didn't get it.
You said
No.
you wanted a dishwasher so bad, and you got one for Christmas. And I said, "What's her name?"
Oh, we didn't name the dishwasher. Hey man,
Shut
that's
up.
really sexist.
Whatever.
That's that's really
Okay,
sexist,
so what's
man.
his name?
I don't know, man. But look, and this is the other thing. Like, you solve a problem, and then you have a new problem. The problem was washing up, so that's solved with the dishwasher. Now the new problem is loading and unloading it consistently.
Right.
So, like, you're never there. You've always got a new thing that you've. There's always a new challenge ahead. It's just a nicer problem to deal with. You know, I find you have that. I think it was Buckminster Fullerene that said that. He said the
Foolery.
reward. Yeah, Buckminster. No, Buckminster Fuller.
Full of yeah.
Yeah, he made the. Oh God, what was the thing he made? The Buckminster Fullerene was the thing he made. C60, which was
Oh, he
part of
made
it.
a Fullerene. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Bucky Fuller. I think that was his name. I can't
yeah.
remember.
You're right. You're right.
And he made a C60 atom, not molecule out
Yeah,
of.
that's that stuff that cures your ills or whatever, right?
Well, it's harder than diamond. It's a natural. It's a synthesized diamond, but
Oh,
so it's the strongest material known to man that he created. And he said the reward for solving a problem is a new problem to solve. So that plays into the eternal nature of God and how we're constantly moving towards something, constantly journeying into the unknown. So
yeah.
yeah,
I find it the greatest dichotomy is spirit or God versus physical us, and how we're always in motion, and to be still is to know your true self, right?
yeah. When I read Walter Russell, he said like, and he was because he was trying to reconcile physics and mysticism, and he said that everything that moves has a stationary fulcrum that it moves about as its reference point, right? So, like, you know, the electrons spin around a stationary neutron, or for example, like your the axle on your wheel is like stationary. I know it still spins, but it's not moving in the same way the wheel is. See, this is where it comes to
It's not
reference
moving
point.
in a linear fashion. Yeah,
Right. But the point is that if everything is moving with respect to a still fulcrum, so the sun is still with respect to the movement of the planets. The
correct.
sun is moving with respect to the central black hole in the galaxy, right? And so all the movement in creation, right? The law of vibration and rhythm in the Hermetics. What is the fulcrum of that? What is the still point? And the answer is obviously mentalism is the stillness of the mind. Everything's moving about the mind, right?
Right.
So, in a weird way, that simple concept, like say your knee is still, all your joints are still with respect to like the movement of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That simple
The
concept,
seesaw.
yeah, that simple concept proves the existence of God in a roundabout way. It really
Yes, it
does.
does.
So like it's yeah, it's I remember reading that thinking, oh fucking hell, like, and taking that thought to its deeper and deeper and
Yeah,
scaling it up.
Arthur Young was the one. Wasn't he the one that developed a? Was that the helicopter guy? Right.
Arthur Young I know he did the Seven Kingdoms of
Where he said
Creation.
everything is processed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was
Yeah.
Arthur Young. I don't quote me on that, but yeah. So you take that thought and you scale it up in the macrocosm, it comes to a natural conclusion that God is the stillness about which all creation revolves, you know.
Right.
Well, that's the natural conclusion
The
I took from
nuclei.
it. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's pretty fascinating, to be honest. But yeah. So what are we gonna do? You want to keep going for another hour or half hour or so, or you want to call
I
it
don't know.
quits
I was just
now?
going to talk until we depleted our resources, I suppose, like everybody's doing to the earth, and throw our hands up in the air and wave them like we just don't care.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, have you watched that Michael Moore film about like Human Planet, about the Greenies?
About what?
The Greenies, the Green Movement.
No.
Oh man, I watched that film. It was so fucking funny, but it wasn't like funny for the guy who did the film. So he was like a uber lefty greenie guy, right? Like save the planet, and he goes to see this shrink, right? And says, "Oh, I've got anxiety over like the planet, and we're going to destroy the planet, and blah 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 blah." And it was so funny. Like I was kind of being a bit sadistic when I was laughing at him, but hey, whatever. Like, yeah, that cheeky laugh. The shrink told him that he was deluded because he was projecting his own mortality onto the planet because he hadn't come to deal with the fact he was going to die someday. And I was like, wow, like, dude, like that shrink just fucking like annihilated this guy. But it was really funny because it's all about how, like, oh yeah, this green movement to save the planet. And it turns out there are a bunch of billionaires behind the green movement because they want to patent nature so they can basically make palm oil plantations everywhere. So we get on this palm oil fuel. They've seen it as a way to patent nature. So they've invested all this money to try and hijack the left on the green movement. And because they're giving up on the right because the right aren't buying it.
Right.
And yeah, it was just funny because this journalist goes to investigate the green movement and deeply drill down into it and see the efficacy of it with respect to actually like limiting pollution and that kind of stuff and etc. And he realizes it's a complete scam and it's all a fucking con. And that's why I thought it was funny because I'd known it was a con for a long time.
Mhm.
And seeing someone go through the cognitive dissonance and coming out the other side, and the guy still couldn't accept that it was a scam. He was so like invested in the belief that green energy is going to save us all when it's the new best thing since sliced bread.
Well,
When
you're not saying that we're not destroying the earth, are you?
yeah, but what
By
here?
overuse of it, by leaving garbage pontoons in the middle of the Pacific the size of Texas.
I see it like this: the Earth's been here for allegedly 4.6 billion years. It will be
Right.
here for another 4.6
Well,
billion
it'll
years,
probably be here for far longer than any human
long
will
after
set
I'm
foot on it.
gone. Long after I'm gone, it will still be here,
Right.
Steve.
But I
And
mean, humans need to respect our. You shit in your own backyard long enough, it's going to start stinking, man.
this is the thing, like with nature, right? Nature doesn't fucking lie. Nature tells the truth, how it is, right? Do you know what I mean by this?
Well,
Like
yeah, nature runs a show. Right.
nature does not fucking care how you think or how you feel about your requisite need to manage life in physical reality. It does not give a shit what you think. It's going to do what it's going to do and there's nothing you can do about it,
Right.
right?
But you're
So
saying man isn't affecting the environment.
no, I'm saying the truth is in between somewhere. There obviously is going to be an
Well, yeah,
impact.
obviously.
We're obviously going to impact the
I'm,
environment,
I'm
but
not. I'm not Al Gore. I'm not saying all that nonsense. But
yeah, but here's my point: is like we're kind of damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. Like we're on a sticky wicket here. It's like if we tried to like cut back carbon emissions, people would be in fucking energy poverty, and their lights would be turning off. They wouldn't be able to fucking cook food and we couldn't heat our homes in the winter or cool our homes in the
What's
summer.
the underlying cause of all that?
Well, this is the thing.
Money.
Yeah, but no, yeah, but it goes deeper than money because,
No,
like,
but money is the progenitor to not having the free energy we should all have,
but
right?
but this is the thing. Like, people have got to be paid for their time. You know, you're not going to go and do a bunch of shit. Like, I wouldn't work my job for free unless I was fucking compensated. But I need to be compensated to pay the bills. I'm kind of
Right.
stuck in this position, right? So there has to be some kind of incentive for people, right? So this is why money's not such a bad thing on one when you look at it from one perspective. But this is the deeper point that I'm trying to get to, right?
Okay,
Is
sorry.
that no, it's okay. You don't have to apologize. The less that you have, the more toil and work you have to do to survive in nature. So, say you don't have running water, you need to walk to a river every morning to like clean yourself and have a drink and all this stuff, right? And this ties into that film, like Into the Wild. You know, when you know that film where he goes into he goes into the middle of nowhere in Canada and he dies and freezes to death. Like, that's kind of the moral of that story I see, because like the less we have, technologically speaking, the more we have to do. Like, if you don't have a car, you got to fucking get public transport everywhere, and it takes so much more time and it's so much more effort. Do you know what I mean? So technology solves a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it creates a new problem that needs solving again, you know? So
But I'm saying, like, the energy crisis that you were referring to, I do think that in the past, in the recent past, there's been developments on that front that have been suppressed by big money interests, or like OPEC, or power companies, or you know what I'm
yeah, well,
saying?
that's supposedly what the whole deal with Nikola Tesla was, you know,
Yes.
because he
What?
figured out like if you put a big fucking electromagnetic coil with high voltage and high frequency in the middle of a fucking town, everyone could drive around in that town with their car coupling with the energy from the coil, you know.
Yeah, stuff
But
like that.
I still think though in physical reality you don't get something for nothing, you know.
Well, no, I'm not saying it would be for nothing, but they're if you really think about it, the energy grid gets struck by lightning. What happens?
Yeah, it goes down.
It
You
goes
know,
down.
we had
Why? Because of over amplification of the energy. So
yeah.
if the energy can pull energy out of the ether, why can't we?
I think that's in the Final Fantasy game. They like find a way to like harness etheric energy and they power everything. That's like in the like story of those games. And then
Hmm.
like that new energy brings problems because people want to use it for fucking tyrannical
Yeah,
reasons. You know what I mean?
you're right, and that's there. There comes free will again.
Yeah, so it's the same archetypal stories playing out against one another.
Hmm.
You know, so I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm at that point, Steve, where I'm getting older, and I realize there are things that I need to do. And for anyone like watching this, it's like just look at what house Saturn is in your horoscope, and look, and you need to know your birth time to accurately find that out. And you look at the archetypes ruled by that house, and that is like, you know, I watched these astrology videos about how to find your career from astrology, and there's all these different ideas of how to do it. And I kind of come back to Saturn because Saturn is like the gatekeeper of karma, and it's the gatekeeper of transcendence, you know. It's like Agent Smith in the Matrix, and the agents, they all wear black, which corresponds to Saturn, and they hold the doors to the transcendence, to the higher planes, if you see what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does okay, Miles brings up something I brought up in chat the other day. How does energy create matter? You know, in the big scheme of things, what do you think it is?
I don't know. I really don't know. The only concept I know is that matter is supposedly energy at a very low frequency of vibration. Because when you heat something up, it will like disappear, or it will. When you heat up water, it's no longer a liquid. You know, if you think of water, so um, you have ice, you have water, and then you have steam. Like when the more you heat it up and the faster the movement of the electrons, it would seemingly disappear. Although it hasn't disappeared, it's just changed state. Do you know what I mean?
You just repeated exactly word for word what Miles just said in chat.
Well, it's the logical conclusion of that idea, isn't it?
Yes, but I mean, what I'm talking about is like in the Genesis story, you know, the how the logos created everything, you know, the vibration. So, you know what I'm saying? What I'm getting
Yeah,
at?
I'll take that question a step further from what Stan Tenen has said at the Maru Foundation. He said when he said you have the logos, and the logos is in the abyss. So you have the water. How does the logos circumscribe one area of the abyss to have creation within it? Like, how is the boundary of the universe created? Like,
That's why I have my
defined?
avatar as the Anu.
Yeah, well, that's what the logos does. It circumscribes physical reality from the rest of the abyss. You know.
It digs holes in space.
Yeah. How isn't that Odin and like the mystical
Kohat.
concept?
That's Blavatsky and the Theosophists.
Yeah, well, like I think it was Odin would like hammer out holes in the
Oh
universe,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
would let the divine light through, and that's what a star is. That's what they theorized. Like, it was a god that went around making holes in like essentially the fabric of space time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like you think about it, right? So, say like the pinnacle of our current level of physics and our understanding of physics, right? Like you think where we're at now at this time, and that's excluding the internal world, although quantum physics is catching up, right? Just like ponder, like how far would it have come in say 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years? You must have some civilizations that are so technologically beyond. And you know, this idea is not like something new. You know, this has been thought about, but you know, you look at what technology they had in Victorian times and compare it with the technology we have now with semiconductors and electronic circuits. It's insane. Like, you know.
Yeah, it
So
is
I
insane.
really, I don't know, man. I don't know where we're going to end up, but yeah, I don't
I
know.
think all things will work out in due time, and I think that the only way out of any perceived negative mess is to love your way out of it. And you
Mm.
know, with that, do you have any last thing to add to our conversation, or anything you would like to say to the people that are watching?
I mean, like I've decided that I'm gonna like I've made the conscious decision. I'm gonna put lots of effort into things that I really love, right? Like, so I'm talking with music here. I've like made the decision. So I'm like, okay, I've got my goal in 10 years time. Now, or like I've broken it down in 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, etc. Like, make a plan of where you want to go. Write it down. Like, what is the thing that your soul really, really desires to do? Okay, what is it? You need to, you know what it is. We all know what it is, right? Make a plan of how you can make that happen. Initiate a transformation. Don't be apathetic towards it or think that it will come without extreme hard work. It won't. Like, that's what I say. Like, follow follow the things in creation that bring you joy, you know. And that's not money or a fucking that's not going to be money, because it's never enough, you know. It's just a unit of exchange. Like,
nothing's ever enough in this world, I think.
no, yeah, well, that's the whole James Bond. The world is not enough, you know.
Yep.
So that's what I'd say to people. That's what I've decided to do. I've decided to seriously fucking invest in myself, in the thing that brings me the most joy in creation, you know.
Bravo.
And that's what I'm going to do now. That's what I've decided to do. And I think if more people did that and they didn't worry about the money, then, you know, this is one of the evils of money, is that we fucking slave away doing things that we don't really want to do just for the fucking money, when the money's just a unit of exchange and a means to an end. Which is why you need to come up with a game plan, and you need to get fucking serious and disciplined about it. See, this is the other thing. Focus and discipline correspond to Saturn. So look at where your Saturn is. What is it that you want to do? Like, and fucking go and do it, you know. You know?
Just do it, man. Just do it.
Yeah. Put on your Nike sneakers and fucking yeah.
All right, brother. Hey.
All right, yeah. I've really
it was nice talking to you, man. Good conversation. I liked it.
Yeah. Like, thanks to everyone.
Yeah, good piano playing too, brother.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna keep at it, man. I'm gonna be disciplined.
Right.
All right, Steve. You take care.
Take it easy, man. Love, peace, chicken grease.
Right,
thanks everybody for joining us, and you guys have a nice night, a nice Sunday night, and or Monday morning, wherever you are. But everybody, just hey, like my buddy Brian would say, be the frequency you'd like to receive, and love is our only cure. Love, peace, chicken grease. Take it easy, guys.
Take care.
All right.